Welcome everyone to the RTV studios on the campus of Martinsville High School for another edition of Inside Martinsville Basketball here on the MHS Rewind YouTube channel and WREP 15 Sports. I'm your host, Eric Meyer, joined as always by our Artesian head coach, Kip Staggs. And Coach, again, thanks for taking time to join us.
It's always a pleasure.
Got a lot to talk about here as the season wraps up, the regular season here for the Martinsville boys basketball team. A couple of games last week. Huge mid-state conference win at home on Friday over the Mooresville Pioneers. A tough loss on the road on Saturday at the Northview Knights. And then Martinsville coming back again this week. They've got a couple of games coming up this weekend, plus a game next week. Sectional draw thrown in there on Sunday night as the regular season wraps up and the postseason gets set to begin. But up first, Coach, we will head to the game last Friday night. It was a big one, the Mid-State Conference rivalry, a possible sectional matchup or rematch, if you will, as the Mooresville Pioneers come to town to battle your ball club. And it's a game you kind of get off to a slow start, but once you guys got going, you score 70 points, hit big shots down the stretch, get some big stops, hit big free throws, and a good win for your ball club, really good win on Friday night.
Yes, you're right. It was a great win for us, and it was just a second half offensively. It's probably about as well as we played all year. We dropped 46 on the second half, and as you mentioned, we hit some big shots. We got some threes that go in there to kind of get us going in the third quarter, and we're able to build on that. And we had a great crowd on top of it that really enjoyed the win.
It's a big win for you guys, and like we said, it was a little bit of a slow start. I think it took you maybe 4 or 5 minutes to get your first bucket. Once you got going, though, things started to roll for you. Mooresville had the lead early, but like you guys said, you had that huge second half of play, nearly 50 points, that your offense really clicking.
Well, we're fortunate that Mooresville didn't get off to a great start either. So, you know, while it was 4-0, 2-0, I mean, it was 3 or 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. So both teams were a little sluggish getting started, and then we just kind of went back and forth to each other. And probably the biggest highlight of the first quarter was putting Luke Cheatham in.
Right.
You know, the whole crowd stood up.
And,
yeah,
awesome.
They stood up and applause, and you know, a lot of people, including ourselves, were happy to see Luke back out there on the floor.
Yeah, Luke was back out. I got a couple of minutes in there, a couple of run for him, and good to see him back out on the floor and kind of start to get back into flow of things as he's really targeting trying to be back and ready to go full go here when the sectional comes around. This is a Mooresville team. We know we talked about it coming in that Nick Patterson was a guy that you're going to have to contend with, and you guys did a pretty good job containing him throughout the contest. We
did. I mean, we switched off and on and just made some things difficult for him, and I thought Coach Gannon Myers did a great job with the scout, and we were well prepared going into the contest, and our guys really locked in mentally, and I thought our physical effort was really good on top of that. So it was probably as complete a 32 minutes as we played, and we were able to slow Patterson down a little bit. You're not going to stop him, but you just need to slow him down some. And then number 10, Defer, is a really good shooter. I thought we did a good job of locating him, and you know, as you mentioned earlier, you know, we were able to hit some free throws down the stretch and make some good plays. And, you know, and it was one of those games that also I think, you know, we held our composure. There was a couple plays there where things could have gotten away from us. You know, they were trying to press us, and, you know, we were able to make some free throws. We did turn it over once or twice, but we were able to maintain that lead and didn't panic and then got a stop. So that was really a good opportunity for us to grow and build from that too.
Also kind of recognizing in spots for the most part that when you're using that press to be able to kind of attack off of it as well, knowing you had to continue to score with them, and when you had those opportunities against that press, you guys for the most part took advantage of it.
Well, you're right, and then there was one play that stands out. You know, we're able to break the press, pass it up the sideline, and I believe it was Caleb that threw it to Grady underneath the basket for an easy layup. So, you know, we were able to score in that context. We were able to hit some free throws as well. But, you know, I'm just really proud of our guys, the way we kind of, you know, were a little bit sluggish early. We hung in there defensively. Then we got going offensively, and then we were able to hold our own during the run. And, you know, Mooresville is a talented team. They've got 3 or 4 guys who can make shots, plus Patterson's inside. He's a really good athlete, and the way we were able to handle the situation was really good for us.
You guys get the big win. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights from the contest over the Mooresville Pioneers. There's a lot of them here, and you can see already about 3 minutes in just the 1 point, but then things kind of explode for you guys from here.
Right, and there's a nice pass by Will to Grady, and I think our transition's getting a lot better as we've moved in here to the second half of the season. There was a big shot by Skylar. We've been talking about making reads on some of these offensive things that we do, and here's a nice pick and pop by Grady. Brody's able to find him, and again, you're right there in the second quarter, and it's 10 to 11, whatever, and here's Jack that pulls up and knocks it down, and again, we're just kind of hanging in there, but defensively, I think it was probably our strong suit. Brody with a nice drive, and then, we continue to hold our own here during this stretch. Here's Luke in with a little scissors action, and Brody's able to roll one in after the handoff and keeping it in 4 to 6 points. Grady with a nice drive and a finish. And, we're playing a little bit better. We're playing a little more loose, finding a little offensive rhythm. Here's Will with a nice drive, and probably could have been a foul, but it didn't happen. But, he's able to knock it down, and then we start the third, and we really felt like they were going underneath some ball screen action and able to knock that shot down. That was Brody there, and tied it up, and here's a similar situation, and Skylar's able to take advantage of that pick and roll and get in the paint and pull up, and that's something he's good at. And so we finally get a lead at that stretch, and then, we trade baskets a little bit. Same action. Brody's able to knock down the three, and then coming up here in a sequence right here, this is where Will finds himself in a corner after a nice hustle and getting the ball, and we really opened up the lead right through there, and then Mooresville calls a timeout. We did a nice job here on the out-of-bounds play. I'm not sure I've ever seen this happen, but Brody steals the ball on the inbound pass and takes it the length of the floor and lays it in. And but then they go on a little 5-on-0 run, and they're trying to trap a little bit, and then Reese Wolf is able to knock down that 14, 15-foot jump shot when they're trying to trap us a little bit. And, here's a little diagonal screen, and we find Jack on the box, and he's able to put it in, and we did a nice job executing that play. Brody here on the drive, and again, we're just trying to isolate them a little bit on a pick and roll, and we're able to take advantage of it a little bit. Here's a nice play here. There's a loose ball, a lot of people flying around. We come up with a nice hustle play by our guys and able to put that in with Jack picking it up. And, this is a nice read by Will. He's starting to go with the handoff, but they're kind of playing the handoff, and he's able to drive it. And then here's a play we talked about earlier where we throw it down the sideline, and Caleb finds Grady on the backside. So we were able to attack the press and put it in. So, again, good teams are not going to go away, and Mooresville was definitely one of those teams that didn't go away. And, we got it up 8, 9, 10 points, but then they cut it back down to 5 or 6. And, that's a tournament-type game that we went through. So very pleased with how we went about our business.
Get the big win on Friday night, then you go on the road in a non-conference matchup, a former Martinsville guy, Mike Byram, the head coach over at Northview. You guys have played Northview for quite some time now, and several years before he was even the coach there, but kind of continue that rivalry on Saturday. They've got a really good ball player, Drew Cook, that's over there. And you get into the contest, you get down kind of a little bit early, then you make like a little bit of a run there in the middle of the, I think late here in the first half of play. I didn't see what happened in the second half, but kind of watched later on and saw that they had a big shot there at the end. They were able to take the lead, and then you guys had a crack at it before they were able to hit some free throws. But a close game down the stretch. Northview, though, gets the win.
Yeah, so our second quarter was probably our best quarter of the game, and about the last 2.5 minutes of that quarter, we really we started pushing the ball. We started getting up and down a little bit. We got some easy baskets. We got in that transition, and I think that's something that we've improved on here in the last 2 to 3 weeks. I think our transition game's gotten better. We've gotten some easy baskets. We've gotten the ball to a guy that may be open a little bit better, and so we're improving in that area. But, first quarter we score 9, third quarter we score 9, fourth quarter we score 9. That's 27. We score 19 in the second quarter. So, we just didn't have a lot of offensive rhythm, and the ball didn't go in a basket. Some of the shots you saw in the earlier clips, we had similar shots on Saturday. They didn't go in. And, defensively we were fine. I didn't think we were great, but I thought we did an okay job. And, Cook got 19, but he took 22 shots to get it. And so, if you shoot 22 times, you should get 19 points. But I thought we did a pretty good job with him. And, Yeah, to your point, we're actually up 42-38, and there was a sequence of events. There was a jump ball / timeout. They were granted the jump ball. They kept the ball. Then we trapped on the out of bounds play, another loose ball scenario. We didn't get it. So there was like 2 plays back to back where, we made some good plays, but we just didn't get that break. It just didn't go our way. And then they were able to score on just like some random floater, like just throw it up there, get the ball above the backboard, and it goes in. And then, then they got a little momentum, and then we're up 2 with about 2.5 to go, and we have an open 3 that doesn't go in. And so, we just weren't able to capitalize. There was another sequence where we're up 37-36. We got an open 3 in the corner, don't hit. We got an open 3 in the right wing, don't hit. Good shots that just don't fall. So, you take those 3 plays, if you will, and kind of put them on the other side, and then all of a sudden take the play where, it's a jump ball, it's a timeout, whatever,
right.
Timeout had been to our favor. So anyway, those things don't go our way. And then, we don't get in a bonus in the second half, and so they have to foul us going down late in the game. And so we went down the last 45 seconds, and we're gonna go for the win. We're gonna, I think a lot of confidence in our guys. So we called timeout with 25 seconds, and then we told them in the huddle, like, if you got something that's easy, let's go ahead and take it, drive to the basket. We're down 1. Nothing really developed at that point, so we called timeout at 15 seconds, and then they still had fouls to give, so they fouled and fouled. So this time the ball was out underneath the basket, and we passed it inbounds to Brody, and the kid comes around and strips it from him, and then, the game was over at that point. But, it just was one of those games where, probably had a little bit of a fallout from the night before maybe, but we just didn't make shots either. Defensively we weren't bad, and but we just didn't make shots. I think we had 3 or 4 guys that were combined 4 for 20. So, and those guys have been able to put those balls in the basket here of late. So I think, kind of put it in perspective. But, tough loss. Really thought that was one we should have got.
Northview comes away with a victory, 49-46, the final. How you kind of wrap up the regular season coming up this week? You've got a game on Friday, Saturday, and then next week on the road at Avon. The sectional draw comes out Sunday as well, and then you'll get ready for sectional play. You've got that first game coming up. It's a mid-state conference matchup on Friday night. It's the Whiteland Warriors. Before we get to that, though, it is senior night. It'll be another special one for you. It'll be your senior night for your son, Brody, in addition to 5 other Artesian seniors.
Well, it's been a really good group. They've kind of grown up together, and they've been together a lot, played a lot of games together, and it's a little bit bittersweet, for a lot of reasons. And these guys are they've done it well. I mean, they've represented our program very well over the last several years, not just the last couple years, but for several years. And you look at Jack Wolf and Will Baston. I mean, both of those guys are top 10 in their class, and their GPA's 4.2 or 4.1, whatever, and they're outstanding students. And then we've got a couple of those seniors in there. They're at 3.7 and 3.8, and so they've done a really good job in the classroom. And then on top of that, you see some of these same guys, whether it's Habitat for Humanity or working with churches and mission, or doing some things around the school. They're very involved. Whether it's Rewind, for example, with Luke. So these are really, really good young men, and I think you're going to see even bigger and better things out of them as they move on and take the next step in life. And I think they're ready for that. I think they're, we always want to prepare our guys and students in general that when they walk across the stage that they're ready for that next step in life. And I think these guys are ready. I think they're ready to take on whatever they want to do, and they're well prepared to do that, and hopefully basketball's been part of that to help them be ready to make that next step.
Ready and prepared coming up on Friday night as well. They will be against the Whiteland Warriors. The Warriors coming to town on senior night. Let's talk a little bit about Whiteland and what we can expect out of them from Coach Kangany on Friday.
It's probably one of the most talented teams in our league, to be honest with you. I look at their schedule, look at their record, and I'm a little bit dumbfounded that their record's not better. I think they've got really good player. McLaughlin, he had 26 against Decatur. The Willoughby kid seems like he's been there forever. He's a senior. They've got a good mix of some young kids that can shoot a little bit. So I think overall they've got some athleticism. They've got guys that can shoot it. They've got a little bit of size, and they were down 17 to Mooresville and then come back and it's a 2-point game with about 3 minutes to go. And they are a nice team, and their record doesn't indicate maybe the type of team that they are. But so we're going to have to really play well. We're going to have the same type of effort like we had last Friday.
What are we going to see, quickly out of them offensively and defensively?
Well, they like to spread you out a little bit and drive it. McGaughlin really likes to try to get in the paint, and the majority of his points are there. And then, they try to. They're a little bit of a slashing type team. Willoughby's he's an improved 3-point shooter. They've got a 6'5" guy inside that he's more of a screener, and then their point guard and shooters out there. So, like I said, they're well put together. And, defensively, they've really been man-to-man for the majority of the season, but most recently they're playing a little more 2-3 zone and maybe press a little bit here and there. But, nothing that we haven't seen so far this season. And then, for us, I think our key is we got to stay even on the boards. That's just always been a battle that every game going in and out. I think our offensive efficiency has got to be better. I think back to the Mooresville first half. I think to the 3 quarters we had against Northview. We had a lot of empty possessions there that we've got to capitalize on. We've got to be able to, put some points back to back. I think we've been able to defend better here as of late, and some of that's just want to, and some of that's just communication. And so I think it's going to be a great battle. We've got senior night on top of all that, and we're going to recognize those kids. And then we also have dance that's going to be there, senior night for dance, senior night for gymnastics, and senior night for cheer. So we've got about 18, 19 kids we're going to recognize before the varsity warm-up tomorrow.
After that game tips off, after that game on Friday, and you get hopefully the victory over the Whiteland Warriors, you'll go on the road on Saturday, and then the following week as well against Avon. But the Saturday contest, you mentioned how Whiteland's a really good ball club. You're going to face a really good team on Saturday as well in Greenfield Central.
Greenfield's outstanding. They'll be one of the best teams on our schedule all year. And the Moles kid's an outstanding shooter and player, and I believe he's going to Marion. And then Mullins is a sophomore that's really played well, and I think they're 19-1 right now. And so to play over there, I think they have senior night as well, so they'll be fired up. And so we'll have to bring our best game. That game is going to be a little bit different in terms of they're going to be very similar to us in the sense that they'll run some chin, they'll run a little variations off of it, and then they're going to be 3-2 zone. That's just kind of what they've done. And but we'll go over there and help get ourselves ready for the tournament. And then, as you mentioned, the tournament's around the corner. We'll have the players out on Sunday for a little meal. We'll play a little pool, have a little pool tournament, and 8-ball tournament, and then we'll turn around and get our draw and get ready for that as we get ready for Avon, kind of all at the same time.
And all those things wrapping up the regular season, so we'll meet back again here next week, do it all over again, and talk about those games you just mentioned in addition to the sectional draw.
We look forward to it. We've got 3 big contests here in a short period of time and a little bit of an NBA schedule as we wind up the season, but just really excited about our opportunities. This group's come along here in the last month or so, and I think we're playing much better than we did definitely before Christmas.
All right, Coach, we appreciate it. Good luck coming up this week.
Thank you very much.
That's Artesian head coach Kip Staggs here inside Martinsville basketball. Artesians coming up to wrap up the regular season Friday, the home game, senior night. Get out there, support the Artesians. Get out there before about 7, 6:45, 6:50, something like that. Watch the end of the JV game. Get ready for the senior night festivities. Stick around for the Artesians and the Warriors doing battle. If you can't make it, no worries. We got you covered. MHS Rewind YouTube channel. Have that live stream going. We'll have the senior night. Take a little break. Come back for the tip as well. Martinsville wraps it up. Greenfield Central and then Avon as well. As always, I'd like to thank the head coach Kip Staggs for coming in. For Coach Staggs, along with Luke Cheatham, who produced it here this afternoon. I'm Eric Meyer. We'll see you again next time inside Martinsville basketball.